Hey guys, this is Nefis here, and I've been meaning to make this video for about a week now, but life's been fucking me like I'm a porn star in Nevada, and it's been pretty tough trying to get videos out while I'm going for Twitch partner and thinking about killing myself too as I write my 10th thesis on how the French people fucked the Middle East. Anyway, I was asked by a few people recently what I thought about carries. For those of you who don't know what carries are in the context of MMOs or ESO, it's basically when one person pays a very capable group, hopefully, to literally carry them through whatever hard content they can't normally complete because of a variety of reasons, like maybe they just don't have the time to naturally progress through the content, maybe they just want the rewards and don't really care about the progress, or maybe they just really need some quick gear for PvP or PvE build that they really want to do. Regardless, some people have noticed when I'm streaming on Twitch or in my recent YouTube videos that I go do some runs when they see one person lying dead on the floor while, the rest of us are cleaning up the trial like it's fucking spring cleaning. And some of these people seem uncomfortable, curious, or very passive aggressive when they realize a person is being carried in one of the runs I'm in. So there's a bit of a social issue that isn't addressed much by most of us because it's sort of like something we sweep under the rug as a community. I'd say in the culture of ESO, really ESO is a very casual MMO, so it's sort of understandable where some of this angst or misunderstanding comes from. Like on the ESO forums rather than the game itself, there's such a huge pushback against this perceived elitist class of players that ends up actually making the casual players the most toxic demographic in some cases, ironically enough. So to answer your question about what I think about carries or how I feel about them, I'm gonna basically answer that in this video, and I'm also going to pick out the most common arguments made by these questionable internet scholars against the concept of carrying people through content. A really common argument from the Legion of Potatoes is that it's morally wrong. You heard me, morally wrong to pay in-game currency for in-game rewards. Like, I'm not shitting you guys, I have seen people in ESO compare paying for or doing carries to actual crime. I mean, these insane, slippery slope arguments that if you're gonna carry someone from zone chat for gold through, DLC trial, you're a fucking Nazi. I don't know what the thought process is behind, arguments like these, but I guess if you call someone a Nazi or a mermaid enough times, they're gonna become a Nazi or a mermaid. Then there's another argument that's saying, carrying someone through a trial means you're taking away the experience of the game, that you're robbing them, that, you're basically robbing their future of enjoying future progression. Let me tell you something. No one enjoys progression, although it's a necessary evil, and a majority of the ESO players nowadays from the various polls and I meet them also in Discord servers, are people usually the average age of 30 to 40. So somehow these people have careers, children to fucking feed, and better shit to do than spend at least 6 hours of raiding or whatever every week to, clear a trial, may not simply be able to do it. And it's like people, don't think that these people have a will of their own, like willingly, knowingly paying a fair price to the raiders. They think that endgame raiders are basically, highway robber men with what they view as exorbitant fees. Now, personally, I would always prefer it if everyone can do progression rates instead of buying skins or whatever. If you've known me since 2016, I've never honestly been a fan of carrying people unless they absolutely wanted to buy runs. I would always want people to learn and grow from playing the PvE content, because honestly, when it comes down to it, ESO is not even comparable in my opinion in terms of difficulty to a lot of other MMOs or games out there. But there's always gonna be people who can and will pay for the convenience of carries, and I don't really see this going anywhere, particularly with how casual most of the player base is in this game at the moment. Then the next argument is basically talking about, how it's in the best interest of endgame raiders to suppress people from, suppress them from learning how to play, from joining PvE raid guilds or whatever, and creating some sort of shitty gaming culture so we can keep making more gold, or some nonsensical bullshit like we're the fucking shadow government, in ESO, and we listen on every fucking roleplay conversation down in Grotwood. Listen guys, I hate to tell you this, but endgame PvE players are the least influential in the entire game. Like, you know who's the most influential player base in ESO? It's not the trade guild alliances, it's not the raiders, it's not the PvPers who quit every patch because Cyrodiil is lagging out of its dick hole. It's you guys. Like, you know, it's the role players, it's the questers, it's people who log on once every 3 months. Like, you guys have the most influence. Think about it. And to insinuate that the endgame community is so toxic to the point that we refuse to revitalize the dwindling numbers of our ranks just because, you know, we want to make a few million more gold at best per month, because, you know, we're constantly spending and putting back this gold back into the player economy is so insulting that I think Helen Keller would have heard this insult from the bottom of the ocean. So I'm in this one carry Discord as an example where this person bought a run and he came into the voice chat and he asked us, you know, questions about, you know, the fucking DPS setup or the mechanics and such about the trial, and, you know, we gave him the answers. It's not like we were hiding anything. And you know what the guy did? The guy who organized the carry run for this buyer did? After the raid, after we, you know, finished doing this carry run, this guy, the raid lead, he took this buyer aside, all right, took the time out of his own life to start teaching him one-on-one about his setup and shit. This is shit that other content creators fucking charge real money for. And here's this dude who just sold a run teaching this guy, hey, this is how you do it, this is how you get better, this is what to do. And like, there's no big fucking secret here, you guys. Like, all you guys need to know, all you need to look at is literally already plastered everywhere on YouTube. Just look at my channel even, like the strats, the numbers, whatever. We even have ESO logs now. Speaking of ESO logs, another hilarious argument, by the way, I've heard against carrying people is that they're gonna go around linking their achievements and shit, trying to get into better raid teams, and, you know, ruining the raid team's experience because, you know, they bought the achievement. They don't, you know, they didn't get it fair and square or whatever. And that somehow puts them ahead of others trying to get into those same raid guilds. I'm going to tell you right now, guys, for those of you who don't know me from my raid leading days, if you're hiding your bullshit in between your ass cheeks with a tight, padded Calvin Klein fucking underwear, I will sniff that bullshit out so fast I'm going to snort your fucking fecal matter from 10 fucking miles away. Other raid leads and I don't even need ESO logs to see if someone is bad, okay? So this argument is pretty fucking flawed. I mean, the final argument is a pretty new one, and it seems to be gaining traction because it sounds smart. So recently, just to give you guys a background, ZeniMax Online Studios has made it possible for people to gift the cosmetic store, or crown store in this case, the crown store items people buy with real money, to other players. And this is a really double-edged sword here, and I'm still sort of conflicted on this whole matter, but basically you can exchange your in-game currency gold for a crown store item which is bought with real money. So say if I want a $15 horse or some shit from the crown store, so I'd be paying a person with in-game currency at a set determined rate who has the crowns to buy that horse for me, and in return they get the gold. So I talk a lot about the effects this has had on the player economy in game in a few other videos, but basically what these people are saying is, okay, you can get gold from other people now with real money by buying crowns, gifting people shit what they want from the cosmetic store for gold, and then you use that gold you essentially bought with crowns to pay for a carry. These sprinkled donuts are saying, 1, this is pay to win, 2, it's against the terms of service, and 3, and I shit you not, on a recent forum thread, someone said that this would encourage kids to steal their parents' credit cards to get carried through fucking, I don't know, Wayrest fucking sewers. First of all, the kids or the younger people are the least likely to buy carries. Like, what the fuck were you guys doing when you were 16 or 18 or 20 or some shit? Eating instant ramen and trying to get laid or some random stupid shit. But you had all the time in the world. Like, the youngest people typically have the most time. And this forum thread said kids would steal their parents' credit cards to get carries in ESO. Like, come on, dude. Really? and pay to win. Well, I don't understand where this pay to win and stuff is coming from. What are you winning if you pay for a carry? Some gear that everybody else has access to? A skin? I don't know how skins pay to win. Achievement points that don't actually mean shit because it's a game, and achievement points in this game aren't even account wide. Like, I don't know what you're winning. What are you exactly winning here that gives you an enormous advantage over other players? Yeah, I don't know, guys. I don't know. And no, it's not against the terms of service to sell carries or buy carries. I mean, these people who keep saying it had made it so bad recently. I think the fucking ESO dev tracker bot in Discord, Gina Bruno, the community manager, picked up on it, and she actually said in one of the forum threads I was, centered around this topic, she basically said, "Hey, yeah, just to let you guys know, carrying people for gold is fine. It's not against terms of service." So there you go. ZeniMax has said officially that carrying people for gold is a-okay as long as you don't actually buy in-game stuff with money. You have to actually go through ZeniMax Online Studios to convert your hard-earned dollars into crowns so you can buy whatever you want with crowns in the game. If you don't do that otherwise, it's against the term of service, if that makes any sense. It's actually a pretty clever way that ZeniMax has set up this whole gifting thing. It's like entire in-game businesses have sprung up from this kind of industry, which is pretty interesting in itself. I'll probably make a video on the effects it's had some other time in a different video. But yeah, those are my thoughts on basically carrying people in ESO PvE content. Like, it's harmless for the most part. No one really gets hurt. I don't know why people care so much about how other people spend their gold as long as it's not against terms of service. It's a great way for a lot of guilds, trade guilds, and social guilds included, to make gold for guild traders and stuff like that, or guild events. Stuff like that. It's not a big deal, but people have made it into a big deal, and so here we are. Also, for those of you who think they're being edgy or cool, saying that you're going to report people for selling carries, or telling them that no one's going to buy any more carries from you for that price. No way, no one's buying anything from you. Congratulations, you are now a statistic. Like, you're not special. It's like, out of every 10 people, there's always that 1 or 2 people that just kind of goes off the rails in zone chat. Anyway, if you want to watch me break the terms of service, make sure you tune in on Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, and Tuesdays to twitch.tv/NephisQS. Thanks for watching.